Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you tonight to the 81st GISD local show. I got Miss Blakey, the CTE director here. She's going to talk to y'all.
Hello, good evening. Thank you guys for being here tonight. I'm Carmen Blakey. If I haven't met you yet, I would love to meet you tonight during the show at some point. Thank you for being here to support our students, your students. And I've said this the last couple of nights, but our ag students are some of the hardest working ones we have in the district. Nobody does this without having some great work ethic, a lot of responsibility, a lot of leadership skills are taught over these few years of them working in ag. And so we're very thankful for your support as a parent or a community member. And of course, the support our livestock committee gives our district, our GISD Booster Club, my CTE staff, which is Miss Becky Collins, who's in on all of these details, arranges for most of these things to be set up. Miss Brenda Tiarina, who's our bookkeeper and keeps all of that straight, all of our money straight. And then Miss Shannon Miller, who is the coordinator for ag and construction and a lot of other programs in our district. So we couldn't do this without them, and they are top notch. And so I'm very thankful. Of course, our ag teachers who are in it day in and day out with our students in the classroom and in the barn and teaching the skills that they need and keeping everything afloat. We're so thankful for them. And I do see a few other teachers here tonight that I know are teachers, but they're not ag teachers. And thank you for coming to support your kids who are in other programs or in your classes. It means a lot when they see you at one of their extra events on an evening. So during these last few shows, you've seen the work that these kids have been able to produce. And that's going to happen again tonight. And I also wanted to say a big welcome to Dr. Erica Crump, who's in the audience tonight. Yes, give her a huge hand. Ms. Crump, Dr. Crump is our former CTE director and has done this many times, and she's coming to support you even though she is living the good life retired now. I wanted to say one more thing. If you're interested, I talked to several people about purchasing an animal and just said what a great opportunity it is. And some people have said back, well, I can't transport it to be processed, and I don't know how this works. And so I know Mr. McAtee has mentioned this several nights, but if you don't know what that looks like, it's no work on you. You pay for it, and then we take care of all those details behind the scenes. So if you need help on how that would work, get with a few friends, go in on an animal at the auction tomorrow morning, and you will not be sad that you did that. So thank you for being here. We're going to get the show started. Have a good night.
All right, I got Miss Bella Harmon going to come up here and do our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which I stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now Jackie Leos is going to do our Texas Pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
All right, now I have Gabe Swallow going to tell us our FFA motto.
The FFA motto: learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, living to serve.
Okay, and then our national anthem, Miss Allie Gerber.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight and the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night
Thank you, ma'am. All right, let's go to prayer from Josie Gower. She's going to come up here and pray for us. We need the prayers.
God, protect the exhibitors as they go through this show, showing their hard work. Protect the advisors as they guide us kids through the years. Protect the livestock community as they lead the show and help us keep this program alive in the GISD. Protect the parents and guardians as they support everyone's hard work. Bless this show and watch over us as we grow and learn more every day. In God's name I pray, amen.
Thank you. I want to do one more welcome to Mr. Johnny Beach, who I see now. He's our Vice President of our Board of Trustees in Garland ISD, and we are so thankful for all of them for their support. But Mr. Beach has been here a couple of nights, and thank you for being here tonight, Mr. Beach.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this night under. Oh, we got the Booster Club. Miss Katrina Swallow is our president of our Booster Club, and she's going to do our senior spotlight.
Hi, good evening. As Chad said, my name is Katrina. I'm the president of the GISD FFA Booster Club. We cover
Or
all of the high
Catherine,
schools.
whatever one you want to call you.
Catherine, Christina, Katrina. You can call me whatever you want to. Just don't call me late for dinner. We have a table back in the back. We're selling candy bars and bottled water. Help us out with raising some money for the kids. We're also doing a membership drive. We have a really cool cow print looking tumbler back there with a Chick-fil-A gift card that we're going to raffle off at the end of the night to anybody that signs up for the Booster Club. So please sign up. It's free. We just want your email address so that we can hit you up with everything that we're going to do next year. All right, and it's our last senior night for the class of 2025, and these are all cattle kids showing some other stuff. So without further ado, from Garland High School, we have Josie Gower. Her parents are Carrie Gower and Alvin Gower, and she's also got her grandfather, Rick Wyatt. She's the chapter president. She's also been the chapter treasurer. This year she's showing a market hog, dairy heifer, and ag mechanics. She's also previously shown breeding heifers. She plans to go to East Texas A&M majoring in pre-vet animal science. All right, next we have from Garland High School, Vanessa Rangel. Her parents are Jose and Marisol Rangel. She's the chapter treasurer. She has shown breeding doe and market sheep on Wednesday. She's showing a breeding heifer tonight. And she's also shown market goats in the past. She plans to go to Texas Tech to study pre-vet. From Garland High School, Miguel Velasquez. Parents are Erica Cerna and Andres Velasquez. He's showing a market steer and a breeding heifer. He showed ag mechanics the other night, and he's also shown a dairy heifer in the past. He plans to go to trade school for welding. And our last Garland from Garland High School, Alyssa Garola. Parents are Angel Aguilera. All right, and Javier Aguilera. She is showing a breeding heifer tonight, and she plans to go to Texas State to study ag ed. I know he's here. Last but not least, from Saxe High School, Scott White. His parents are Josh and Jordan White. He's the chapter vice president. He's showing market steers and breeding heifers, and he plans to become a firefighter. And that's it for the class of 2025.
Thank you, Katrina. The Booster Club has a table set up back there. Please go see them. They're selling soft drinks, or as Mr. Mulkey calls them, belly washers, and some snacks. Also, don't forget about the food truck over there. We got Don's Burgers tonight, I think is what it's called. All right, so we're fixing to start with our dairy show. Our judge tonight's Mr. Chris Drews. He's out of Caddo Mills. He travels all over the state doing helping kids learn how to do livestock judging for livestock judging teams. He also he also judges many shows. Does it all. He's a man of all. We're glad to have him here tonight with us. All your cards All your thank you cards, kiddos, need to be turned in at the stage tonight. Tonight. If you're not selling your animal, make sure you let Miss H or Miss Hohenberger know that you're not selling your animals. Grand and reserves must go through the auction, though. Grand and reserves must go through the auction. That's not saying you can't buy them, but they got to go through the auction. All right, let's bring up class number 1 dairy heifers, Bella Harmon and Bella Harmon. Chris, you want to come get this mic so you'll have it? Class number 2, dairy heifers, be getting ready in the staging area. Josie Gower and Bernice Garba. All right, Mrs. Blakey told you if you want to buy an animal or something and you're concerned about that, just catch one of us up because we can walk you through that, tell you the easiest way and the best way to do it. But like I've said, the things you buy in the store nowadays isn't as good as what you can get here. So, like I said, if y'all need some help with that, just let one of us know and we'll gladly help you through that.
Well, it's the third and final night. I got a little bit more voice than I had last night. And so y'all are probably glad y'all are fixing to get rid of me and this painful experience with me over. Y'all know how I start every night. Anybody out there, raise your hand if you know who Jesus is. Anybody? Yeah, if you know who Jesus is, raise your hand. That's something to be extremely, extremely proud of. I will always tell you, step out of the shadows, be proud of that fact. Tonight we're going to support these kids one more time. I just realized they've been saying 81 years. 81 years this has been going on, that we have been supporting this agriculture program of turning these really good kids out, because these barns will help prepare these kids for stepping out into society and just being better members of society, responsible, that work hard. You know, these blue-collar people we all know and love. And I just think the program is tremendous. If 81 years is in still counting, I think that's pretty impressive. So big round of applause for this program. It's a really good one. All the people that put it on, thank them. Get down to the dairy heifers. I do like milk a lot. I think you got two that are really, really competitive, and you got some differences between the two. Young man's going to win the class tonight. I like the angle of that one's shoulder. I really like how that necktie high and the point of that shoulder really got a nice angle. She is ultra feminine and clean through that throat latch, but the top line kind of separates them from me. She is really strong down that top line. Probably a little bit better from her hooks to her pins when we start talking about that levelness. I think we're probably equally yoked when we start talking about the structural correctness and how they flow around the ring and move. Both these individuals do an exceptional job. Congratulations to you, young man. Not taking anything away from this young lady. One that's put together really, really well. Another one that's ultra good out through her front end. Not quite as thin and refined up through that neck. Not quite as square and level right from that top line right into that pin set there. But I think that's a really, really competitive pair. Congratulations to you as well. Thank you for bringing them to me.
All right, first place going to Bella Harmon, and second place going to Bella Harmon. All right, that'll bring us up to class number 2. Our dairy heifers will be Josie Gower and Bernice Garba.
Big round of applause for a very competitive pair of these two young ladies. Go ahead and make a comment too. Both these young ladies do a very professional job of getting these presented, making sure they're in the best of their ability. They get that calf presented. To me, a young lady here with the darker heifer, it's one I'm going to land on to win this class. I just think there's more to this one in terms of that capacity and that rear flank. Again, love the angle on that one, love the top line in that one. I think that one just really, really kind of sets the mold for this class for me. And I'm not going to take much away from our second place. They are very similar. That's a very, very competitive class. Just a little bit higher in that flank, not quite as big in the center of that body, not quite as level out in that pin set, but a really good job by both these individuals. Big round of applause for these two, if you would, please.
First place going to Bernice Garba, and second place going to Josie Gower. All right, now we'll bring our first and second place back. Our first place is back for grand champion. All right, we need Bella Harmon with your first place heifer back, and Bernice Garba.
Big round of applause for our champion drive, if you would, please, for our dairy exhibitors. Not a big show, but the quality is there. You know, I kind of talked about them in class, but this brown Swiss pair here, these last two out of here, again, splitting hairs between the two. I think they're pretty equally yoked on how they put together. They'll stand grand in reserve for me today. Congratulations to both of you.
Grand champion going to Bernice Garba, and reserve going to Josie Gower. All right, that'll bring us into our dairy showmanship. All right, if we're ready for showmanship, let's go ahead.
Big round of applause for our three ladies, if you would, please. Excellent job by all. I think I got these two that are leading out here that just, in those critical points to me, seem like they make their transitions just a little bit smoother. Really alert into where I am and where they need to be positioning and moving those cattle. And then just keeping them collected and keeping them calm and keeping them the way that they need to be in position. I think these two young ladies do it really well. I got one that I just kind of liked it, just a little bit smoother in those transitions, just a little bit more forethought went into it. Young lady, you'll be my champion today. Congratulations. Young lady, you'll be my reserve. Congratulations.
All right, your overall dairy showman goes to Josie Gower, and your reserve dairy showman goes to Bella Harmon. All right, if there's any adults that want to try their luck at dairy showmanship, the first four go in. It's limited to four. Limited to four. Not everybody jump at once. It's Taylor. Premier Dairy Exhibitor will go to Bella Harmon, and Reserve Premier goes to Josie Gower. All right, let's bring those adult showmen in here, these four adult dairy showmen. Beef heifers, be getting ready. We've got on our breeding beef heifers, our American division will be our first division. We've got Angelica Corral.
Nothing like the adults for a good time. Big round of applause for our adults that get out here and participate and have a good time with it. Yeah, one that's pretty serious about this, just kind of gets into position pretty quick, tries not to get rattled by my antics and my comments, but just really stayed in position well, young lady. You will be my champion showman tonight of the adult division.
All right, our adult dairy showman goes to Lindsay Sesko. All right, we're going to get our beef heifers in here. We're going to start off with our breeding beef heifer, our American division. We only got one entry in this division. Angelica Corral.
A little single entry here in our American division, and that's disappointing because she's really, really good. Definitely deserves some competition, and I think she could withstand it well. This one's really, really big-footed. Love the structure in this one. She's really soggy on the move when we asked that one to go. Long strided, tracks really, really true. Just moves really beautifully, and we're going to talk about breeding stock. We're going to have to build them from the ground up. They're going to have to be structurally sound for me. And then we got to put that in there into perspective, the internal carrying capacity. That one's really pulled apart in that center rib cage. Love the depth of body. Tremendous rear flank in this one. And then you start looking at the attractive qualities, the femininity, how extended she is out through her front end there, how clean she is in that throat and refined about her face. And you love the top line. Very level from her hooks to her pins. Again, then has some meat and some muscle to go along with it because it is a beef show. But man, that structural correctness on that one, she's put together really well. Young lady, you should be very, very proud to drag that one around with you. Big round of applause for her, if you would, please.
All right, in your American division, your champion American goes to Angelica Corral. All right, that'll bring us up to our British division, Class 1. Gabe Swallow has 2 entries in this class. Class 2, be getting ready. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come out and support these kiddos. I want to give a big thanks to all the volunteers, the livestock committee, these ladies up here sitting next to me. If it wasn't for them and the ladies over here in the, I call the pit over here, getting all the prizes together. And y'all are in the pit. That looks like a pit right there. All right. Yeah, if it wasn't for them, Tammy Omar and Camel Sanders and Joyce Miller and y'all leave me alone. Leave me alone, Stacy McEntee. If it wasn't for them, getting all these prizes together and getting this all set up. They do a lot behind the scenes. So if you could give them a round of applause for all they do, I'd appreciate it. Okay, so tonight we're going to go through these beef heifers, and once we get them through, we'll do our market steers. We got 3 divisions of heifers. You got your British division, and your exotic will be following the British division. Right now in the ring, these both entries are from Gabe Swallow. Be getting ready, Vanessa Rangel and Alicia Tover, and Gabe's got one in the next class also. Alicia's a So tomorrow morning we'll they have I think a skillathon test in the morning, and then at 9 o'clock we'll do our buyers breakfast, followed by our parade of champions where we award all the belt buckles to the exhibitors, and then we'll follow that up with the auction of the market animals.
Really interesting pair of females as we get started in this division. A lot of give and take between the two. If I could combine the two, I'd absolutely have a great one, but there are some differences between the two, but I'll settle on the young lady's female here. This one's a little stouter featured for me, probably a little heavier in its bone work, a little bit stouter footed, as you would say, but this one's tremendous through the center part of its body, through that center rib cage and the depth in that rear flank. Really like that internal carrying capacity. Now, she's probably leveler from her hooks to her pins and probably a little thicker and wider in her top, and when you get behind her, a little thicker through the center and base of that quarter as well. Probably where the differences is where you can kind of look at them, and 2 is probably going to come over 1 is that extension out through that front end. She's probably a notch more feminine. She's probably a little more elevated in her front end and at the point of that shoulder, a little bit cleaner out through her throat. So the femininity card will probably go to our second in class, but I think the structural correctness and the internal body of the class winner just kind of sets it apart for me. I think when you really start to break the second one down, she wants to handle those hocks kind of in. As we set that one in motion, I want to square her up out of her hip, drop that hock down just a little bit square. She wants to pull them up under herself when we set that one in motion, which is how that hip kind of rounds off ever so slightly, and then drop that rear flank just ever so closely. But I think they're a really, really nice pair. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you for bringing them to me.
All right, your first place in class One of our British division goes to Gabe Swallow, and place number 2 goes to Gabe Swallow. All right, that'll bring us up to class number 2, which is Gabe Swallow and Vanessa Rangel coming in the ring. Alyssa Garola and Scott White, y'all be getting ready. Now, following our beef cattle show, we'll have our master showmanship contest. I want to thank all these young ladies for coming back, the alumni, and taking pictures and helping out where we need help, ring stewards and all that. Thank y'all for doing what y'all do. Taking time to thank him for skipping school, Riley. I know you really wanted to go to school rather than be here, but thank you.
Another really nice pair to analyze here. Young man's going to win the class with the Hereford. This is a really, really big-footed one. I mean, she is really standing on a lot of circumference of bone, a lot of mass. And for this one, man, she can really go. When she goes around the ring, it's soft, it's true. She can really move. She's built very, very well from the ground up. One that's big-bodied, super stout. They even call that broody back in my day, was they're really stout through the middle of their body and soggy. Man, she is big-ended, massive top in that one. Now, if I'm going to get picky of her, I'm going to thin that neck out. I'm going to kind of narrow her chest up. She's a little bit deep for me. We just checked off that box on the femininity. We're going to clean her up right there in that brisket area. We're going to thin that neck out ever so slightly and make her a notch more feminine and elevated at the point of the shoulder. After that, she's just a big, stout, really, really good beef heifer, and I think she's put together well. Young man does a nice job getting her presented. I think the edge of femininity goes to our second place, the little black female here. She is definitely neater up in that throat latch. She's cleaner and trimmer up through that brisket. Probably just well refined in that face, so the femininity goes to her, but she wants to get a little bit awkward when we set that one in motion. She wants to pop on those pasterns on those rear two and kind of get up over that toe just a little bit. I want to flex her out of that pastern just ever so slightly better. As we set her in motion, she wants to pinch towards her tailhead. I want to square her up from her hooks to her pins in that regard, where she's just wider at the pin set for me. But I think that's two excellent females in their own breed, and I'm proud of them to be here tonight. Congratulations to both of you. Big round of applause as they exit the ring.
First place in Class 2 going to Gabe Swallow. Second place going to Vanessa Rangel. All right, that'll bring us up to Class 3. Alyssa Garola and Scott White coming in the ring.
Another really good pair. The young lady's going to win this class pretty handily for me. Really think this little black female's put together really well. The structural correct one for me, really, really good and soft and easy in motion as we set that one to go around the ring. Another one that's tremendous out through her front end. But this one kind of going to win it on that internal carrying capacity, that center rib cage being broke open on that one. Probably a little bit better from her hooks to her pins when we start talking about levelness. A little thicker down her top with more expression when you get behind that one, a little better in that lower quarter as well. I just think more of the complete package between the femininity and that brood cow prospect of just being opened up in that center cage. Not taking a lot from the shorthorn female. Love the length on this one. She is elevated up through her front. Love the length and extension out through that one's front. I want to flesh her up just a little bit. I want to get her a little bit soggier through the center of her body. Open that fore rib up. Drop that rear flank down ever so slightly. But I think once that one starts to mature and open up, she'll just get better and better. Congratulations to both of you.
All right, Class 3, first place goes to Alyssa Gurrell. And then second place going to Scott White. Okay, let's bring back our first places out of Class 1, 2, and 3. Gabe Swallow in Class 1 and 2. And Alyssa in Class 3 for our division champion of our British division. All right, exotic division heifers be getting ready. Class 1, Aiden Guerrera. Okay, Aiden's going to be a scratch on the first class of exotic division. We're going to go to Class 2, which will be Scott White will follow up this division championship.
Put your hands together for the champion drive in this division, if you would, please. Small show, really good quality. These are three really good class winners here. I like how they're all put together structurally, like them through the center part of their body. Enough femininity there, but I think they're put together really well in all those terms put together. One of them's really kind of a man amongst boys, if you would. One of them's really big and stout, really thick, big-footed, really moves nice and soggy. Yeah, I want to change her up front ever so slightly and make her a tad more feminine, but that's a big old stout one right there, young man. You'll be the champion today. Congratulations. It's definitely a little bit tighter when you start to analyze the second behind the champion as well, and then you put these other two in the mix. These two black ones a little bit narrow for me, and they get away from me. Want to pinch in at that hock ever so slightly and turn them in. Not quite as stout, featured from behind, but boy, they got a great profile when you really start to break them apart and look at them. And then the little Hereford up there, man, I think her wheels are just a tick better when that one moves. She moves really true. I think she's big enough body, really square hip. That'll be the reserve champion today. Congratulations.
All right, for your British division, your grand champion British division goes to Gabe Swallow, and your reserve division champion goes to Gabe Swallow. Let's give him another round of applause and give all these other exhibitors a round of applause. All right, exotic division, class 2, coming in the ring, Scott White. Class number 3, be getting ready, Harrison Sanders, Miguel Vasquez. All right, waiting on Scott White. Here he comes. All right, Harrison Sanders and Miguel Velasquez be getting ready. Hannah Turner, you're in class 4, following class 3. Y'all be getting ready.
Put your hands together for the young man single entry here with his Charolais female. Definitely elongated out through that front end. Love the femininity in the throat, and that one really good for that Charolais. They can get really bold and open in that shoulder, and she's laid in nice and tight over the point there. Really, really big-footed. She's still a little green in her kind. Every bite of feed, that one's going to get better. Put a little flesh on. She's going to start to mature and open up. Start to fill in that hip. She wants to be a little thin right there around that tail head. That'll start to fill in with a little bit of fat cover and condition. She'll just get better every day. Congratulations to you, young man. Thank you for bringing her to me.
All right, your first place in Class 2 goes to Scott White. All right, we'll bring that back here in a minute for our division championship. All right, let's go Harrison Sanders, Miguel Velasquez. We don't have a minute. We got to go. Come on, come on, come on. Hannah Turner, go ahead and be getting ready and getting in the staging area. Hannah Turner, be getting in the staging area.
Applaud these two gentlemen, if you would, please, for a job well done. Couple good females here. I think this one gets it done for me quite easily. This is a really, really good structured one, really good through the center of that body, man. She is deep and she is bold through the center of that rib. She's really cleaning her throat latch. Yeah, she's maturing a little bit up in that brisket. Like to thin her out and tighten her up right in that brisket ever so slightly. But man, she's trim up in that throat latch. Love the big body. But man, she is wide when you get down on her back. Really square and level out from her hooks to her pins. Like when we set that one in motion. Really true tracking. Very good travel, coming and going. Like the way that one's put together. Tighten up the point of that shoulder, and like I said, help her with that femininity right there in the point of that shoulder. But I think that's one that's put together really, really solid. I think we've got some good things and some length of body and some extension in our second place. First thing I would having some problems walking, I trim her feet. She's really long in that toe. She's really starting to struggle on how she handles them, especially those rear two. When that toe gets long, she starts to break down in her pasterns. If we keep that toe off, she's going to keep that tendon tight. She's going to stay up on top of those toes and not start to cushion back quite as well. Length of body, no question. She's a little better over the point of her shoulder than our class winner. Probably a little bit longer fronted, maybe a little sleeker out through that neck from a femininity category. But she's kind of giving those things up structurally with those long toes. Not quite as bold and opened up through the center of her cage. Not quite as stout when we get behind that one and start viewing her through the center and base of her stifle. But an excellent job by both of these young men. Big round of applause as they leave the ring.
All right, in your class number 3, first place goes to Miguel Velasquez, and second place going to Harrison Sanders. All right, that'll bring us up to class number 4, Hannah Turner. Need first and second places from the exotic divisions, class 2 and 3 in the staging area to follow up for division champion and reserve division champion.
Can we get a few more oohs and ahs for the cute little baby calf? There we go. Oh, that's good stuff right there. He's so cute. You're talking about what we're here for, ladies and gentlemen. This is kind of what it's all about right here when you start getting into your females and your breeding side of things. This is why we do it. Chad has alluded to it all week. God put him here for a specific reason. It's a food source for us. But what that job of that cow is to put one on the ground every year. We got to put a calf on the ground every year. We run about 600 Brangus cows, and if they're not producing every year, they're not any good to us. They got to put a calf on the ground every year and do that very thing right there. And so my hat's off to this young lady for this project, seeing it through, having a really nice bull calf at her side, doing a great, great job. That's what this is about. That's why we get into this. And Mama's doing a great job. She is holding her top line in. She's staying nice and feminine out through her front end. She's doing a heck of a job raising this bull calf. My hat's off to you. Congratulations to you. Thank you for bringing her to me.
Class number 4, Hannah Turner will be your first place. Now we'll bring those first places back from class 2, class 3, and class 4 for our division championship. Out of class number 2, we got Scott White. Out of class number 3, it'll be Miguel Velasquez. Velasquez. Yeah, I'll get it. Sorry, Miguel. And then Hannah Turner will be class 4. This will be your division champion. Harrison Sanders will be second place for class 3 coming in. Need Angelica Corral back to the staging area with your heifer. Need Gabe Swallow with both your division champion and your reserve champion. Both your heifers back to the staging area, please. Market steers, be getting it on your mind. Market steers, be getting it on your mind.
Big round of applause for our champion drive for these individuals that have put in the hard work. Let them know you love them. kind of talked about a little bit about them each in class. We don't have to rehash all that. The structural correctness is always going to be a big deal to me. Again, they got to be able to move and get it. They got to be able to get out in that pasture later, and they got to walk, and they got to get to their food source. They got to get to a water source, and then they got to do that right there, which is stay in good shape, eat like they need to, maintain a certain body condition on their own, so they can do that right there. And like I said, the proof's kind of in the pudding when you got one standing there like that with a bull calf at her side, with a cow that is staying together that well and showing her, she's not showing that maturity at all. She's still really immature for that, to have that one standing by her side. The bag and the 4 quarters and the udder, all nice and even. She's doing a heck of a job. I'm not always one that says the cow-calf pair always has to win, but today, that one does. Congratulations to you. I think after that, it's pretty obvious for me, we got a really big broke open one in the center body, really stout and good-legged. It said we wanted to change up in that brisket area and clean her up ever so slightly. After that, I think she's a flat good one. Congratulations, you'll be the reserve today, young man.
All right, your exotic division champion goes to Hannah Turner. Your reserve goes to Miguel Velasquez. All right, we're going to bring in our division champions for our overall champion. Steersby getting ready. Market Steersby getting ready. I need our our grand champion back from our American division, Angelica Corral. I need Gabe Swallow with his division champion and his reserve champion from the British division. Exotic division, we need Hannah Turner back and Miguel Velasquez.
And we don't want to leave out the pooper scooper. That's one of the hardest, nastiest jobs ever, so let's give the pooper scooper a big hand.
Yeah.
That's hard stuff.
Mr. Matt Miller, folks. Matt Miller, he'll be here all week.
Thank you, that keeps it off my shoes.
Finally found something he was good at. Besides talking your ear off. Oh, he did get us new batteries for the wireless mic too earlier, so he's good for that too. I'm just glad you're talking better tonight. Y'all don't forget about the concession trailer out there. Dragon Burgers are here tonight with us. Never had a Dragon Burger, but I heard they're good. So go over and try them out. I didn't know there was many dragons running around anymore. Anyway, check out the Booster Club. They got the FFA Booster Club. They're selling refreshments back, or got some drinks and snacks back there if you need. But
overall, heifer's a pretty big deal. Let them know about it, if you would, please. Big round of applause. They're representing their breeds extremely well. Really proud to evaluate the small group that you had tonight, but I think the quality is really good, and I won't waste your time. Those two exotics will be your grand and reserve today. Congratulations.
all right, your overall grand champion goes to Hannah Turner. The reserve champion goes to Miguel Velasquez. All right, we're going to reset the deal here, and we're fixing to bring our market steers in.
Well, as we shift gears to the steer show, then we move into the market side of things, and we start talking about meat and how that's going to perform here. And you get these lightweight steers just under 1,000 pounds, so conditioning and fat's going to be an issue. But when we start to look at them and break down the two and you handle the two, red calf's a little bit further along in his condition, which means how much fat he's got over those ribs. He's a little bit further along in that, which is a good thing. He's got a little bit more top shape and muscle to him when you get down and start to analyze him. A little more depth and shape to that loin edge. One that's a little thicker when you get behind him. Just more pounds of product, if you will, because that's what we've got to do. Who's going to fill that box up with meat faster? That's how we're going to make the money. That's what they're for. Young man gets it done for me quite well. Congratulations to him. A really good silhouette in the black calf that falls into second. He's really good and extended out through his front end. This one's just really greener in his kind. He's just a lot more immature, a little bit thinner. Doesn't have quite the condition over those ribs. Sure lacking some shape down his top. Wants to be a little bit peaked and A-frame there. Need to flatten that top out with some condition. More days on feed, more time, more maturity, and that one will get better. Congratulations. Thank you for bringing him to me.
Okay, in the lightweight class, first place goes to Scott White. Second place goes to Adrian Guerrero. Okay, let's bring the medium weights in. Two contestants, Miguel Vasquez and Casey McEntee.
Get a little heavier, we start getting a little bit more condition on them. That's when they start to get a little bit better in mine, because I start seeing ribeye steaks and all that fun stuff. Young man's going to win the class here. I think that's a really nice little steer put together. Wants to get a little straight out of his shoulder and a little bit straight through his knee. I want him to kind of get that knee back in that socket really good. He's a little straight for me. But after that, he's put together really well. Got a nice look. Really like how he's broke open in the center of that rib. But he's got more shape and muscle down his top and expression. Handles that hip better from his hooks to his pins in terms of how level he is. And he's got some more stoutness right there through the center and base of that stifle. And you get your hands on him. He's starting to put some cover on. I just think he's a little bit better and a little bit more complete in terms of the package and the balance to win the class. Congratulations to you, young man. Young lady's got one that's looking out of the side of his eye. He's trying to get used to all the excitement and all the extra people. One that's actually starting to push some cover. I'm really starting to see the pone around his tail head there, and we like that. He's starting to put some condition on. After that, we kind of got some problems. He's a little bit rounder hip. Want to square him up from his hooks to his pins. With that rounder hip comes a little harder structure, which means he puts those hind legs underneath him when we ask that one to move around the ring. Probably sets that knee a little bit better than the class winner. Class winner handles that rear hip and hind leg better. So structure we can literally throw out the window. I just think that's a little bit better package. I think he's just a little bit square-ended. I think he's put together more in that show quality type steer. Congratulations to both of them. Big round of applause as they leave the ring.
Okay, medium weight division. First place goes to Miguel Vasquez. Second place to Cassie McEntee.
Well, it's a market steer show, so again, we're talking about the meat and the muscle and how they're going to feed us later. And so even from ringside with an uneducated eye, you can see that there's two bigger cattle out here that are pushing more condition and more fat, and they have more product to them than our two lightweights. That's just kind of the way that works. The longer these stay on feed, the more they mature, the more they open up, the more pounds of product they put on. Today, our two bigger calves are where the fat is. That's where the heavier condition is. Two heavier steers will be your grand and reserve. Congratulations to both of you individuals.
Okay, grand champion goes to Miguel Vasquez. Reserve champion goes to Cassie McEntee. Let's give all these kids a big hand. Okay, we need everyone back to the arena for the showmanship.
it was like Maryland State Fair and Iowa State Fair. Most everything is within our state. Right. I just charge them more for 5, 6, 7 hours, and a hotel room. You got it.
Well, it's always going to be complicated. Big cattle, small ring. But we can't really do anything about that, so we got to just play the hand that's dealt us, and then we have to, once we get inside that small area, then it's just kind of, how do you position yourself? How do you make a tough situation better? You know, try to stay calm in this because they're big cattle. Got to position them and really got to work with them and give them a minute. A lot going on that some of them hadn't seen before. So, you know, human interaction, a lot of extra people, a lot of extra noises, babies crying. It's a lot of different stuff to expose them to. Some of them might have been outside the barn a little bit more often, and that always helps to kind of knock the edge off a little bit. But we do what we can with what we've got. So a big round of applause for our showmanship competition here. These children have done a great job. It didn't go as planned for everybody all night. Everybody had an issue at one time or another. But I like the professionalism and with how y'all handled it. Everybody just kind of stayed poised. And there's something to be said about that. I didn't see any tempers lost. You might have been angry inside, but I didn't get to see that. You might have been scared inside. I didn't get to witness that. Y'all's body language says y'all are in total control and y'all are calm about it, which says a lot about this group of kids, which really, really impresses me because that's a very important trait. Stay calm in the moment, deal with the panic later. Just deal with what you've got. I'm a big component of Jesus. Jesus is King. I really appreciate y'all bearing with me all week and getting through my crazy voice and everything that we've been in and out. It's always a pleasure to come and evaluate the animals, but more importantly to me is to work with the youth of tomorrow that are going to be our leaders in agriculture, the ones that are going to help our traditions, my heritage continue, because I grew up farming and ranching as well. I think it's extremely important what y'all are doing here. 81 years is absolutely impressive. Thank y'all for having me, and I'll go out and select these two winners. And I think they've both done an exceptional job tonight. I think they've stayed on their A game. One of them has really made the best of that small situation. Every time they've got to pull out, they really, really find the space to do so. Might not be the way that they were taught because you're supposed to pull out of your hole and go right back into your hole. But again, when you're dealing with small circumstances in a small ring with big cattle, you got to do what you got to do, and you got to make good decisions. Young man, you did that tonight. You'll be my champion. And I think in a close second place, kind of did the same thing, really just kind of held true to what they were doing and stayed calm throughout it. Young lady, you'll be the reserve champion today. Congratulations.
Okay, our grand champion showmanship will be Miguel Vasquez. Our reserve will be Hannah Turner. Our premier cattle exhibitor will be Gabe Swalla. Our reserve premier shower tonight will be Scott White.
show last year? Were you reserving the master? I remember you. You were a hard working dude. I remember when kids work hard. You always work hard. Good swim for no stick. That's pretty good. Hey, they're for losers. You don't need a stick. You tell them all the time. Hey, mine was fake. I guess so. Graduated last year. What are you doing now? College? Out of Oklahoma. You play ball?
Well, I do have to say that in all the adult divisions that I've done all week long, the cattle is probably the deepest in talent that I've had. I would say there's probably more out here that are making it a little bit harder on me than it was in the other species. So hats off to y'all. Big round of applause for our adults for getting out here and doing this and participating. This is really healthy for the kids to see, guys. These adults get out here and participate in this. It's important for us to have a good time. It's important for them to see you have a good time. And also, if you're in a teaching capacity or working with kids like I do, to see you in action, because that's important. If you're going to do something, you're going to ask a kid to do something. It can't be something that you won't do. You got to be able to put yourself out there to be a leader in a child's life and put yourself out there. So my hat's off to you adults for getting out here and showing those kids, hey, we're going to do it too. It might be a little bit tough sometimes, but we will put ourselves in your shoes, that we are always harping on you to do a good job. So adults, you always got to put your money where your mouth is with kids and prove to them that you're willing to go through that storm with them. And kids, remember, I've said it all week long. Might not have heard me because I sounded like a shot goose. But the first step to being great is being grateful. Be humble. Help your neighbor. There are no secrets in this game. If there are, something's wrong with you. Lend a hand. Reach out. Help somebody up. Share what you call your secrets with them. Help them be better at what they do. We have enough selfishness going on in this world. It doesn't need to happen in this barn. We need to help each other, get each other to the finish line. The rest and the winning will sort itself out. It's been an absolute pleasure this week. Young lady, you'll be my champion tonight. Congratulations to you.
Okay, our winner of the adult super senior showmanship will be Bailey McEntee. A reminder to all FFA students, you will need to stay here after the show is over. You will need to remain here after the show is over.
Am I on? I am not a talk on the mic kind of person, but can we please have another big round of applause for Chris Drews, our judge for this week? He's done a great job for all these kids. Also, we just want to shout out real quick to Dr. Gilbreth, standing back there in the back. He was our CTE director for a long time, and we are so glad to see you out here tonight.
Chris, thank you so much. Did not meet you. I enjoyed it. We enjoyed it. By the end of the week, we'll talk a little bit.
Yes, just a couple of announcements. We still have Master Showmanship, so y'all please stick around and watch that. Also, kids, if you have any thank you cards to be handed in, please bring them to the table before you leave tonight so that we'll be able to do the Parade of Champions in the morning.
Also, students, parents, everybody listen up. Please do not leave, because as soon as Master Showman's done, we cannot leave tonight until we set up the arena for in the morning, unless you would like to be here at 4 in the morning with me. I didn't think so. So stick around so we can set this up.
Okay, we just got the results on the overall premier exhibitor is Casey McEntee. Cassie McEntee. The reserve is Gabe Swalla. Sorry, Cassie.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our master showmanship contest. What they'll do is they'll show each of the showmen that won the showmanships throughout the 3 nights. They come back and they'll compete with each of those species, and we'll see who's the best showman in all 3 species. I mean, all, 5, is it 4 or 5 species? So whoever shows them the best will be our master showman. All right, the exhibitors now will take the beef heifers out of the ring, reset with another species. I think, what's next? Dairy heifers. And they'll come back in the ring with dairy heifers next. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to come back and join us tomorrow for the auction. We're going to sell the market animals. We'll start it at 11 o'clock, but in the morning we'll have, I think there's a test for the skillathon in the morning. And then at 9 o'clock we'll have our buyer's breakfast. And then at 10 o'clock we'll have our parade of champions where we award the exhibitors their belt buckles. And then followed by at 11 o'clock will be the market auction, selling the market animals. I think we're going to have about 50-something lots. Pigs, goats, sheep, steers. So if you're in need of filling your freezer, or you got some neighbors that y'all want to go together and buy one of them animals to put in the freezer, and you're not quite sure how to do that, we've got people that can help tell you the process of it. Like I said, the animals are delivered to the processor. You'll just pick up a box of meat. So that's all. You have to pay for the processing and go pick it up. And that's but as far as getting the animal to the processor, the ag teachers will make that happen. Using two different processors. There's going to be some going to Rail 19 in Brashear or Emory. It's really Brashear, Texas. And then the others are going to Munster. All right, now we're going to excuse the dairy cattle, and we're going to go on to the next one, which is goats. Oh, we're going to bring in sheep. All right, looks like we're going to go to the sheep next. All right, now we're going to move on to another species. I think we're going to goats next. Okay, now we'll switch species again to our last one, I think, the pigs. We could use them 3 goats for a wild goat chase later, the way they acted. I got a Honda HRV blocking somebody in, and they were needing to get out. License plate SFW0696. If you could please move that, we'd appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, don't forget to come back and join us tomorrow. We'll have the buyer's breakfast at 9 o'clock, the parade of champions at 10, and then the auction where we sell the market animals starts at 11. We'd love to have y'all come back and be with us through that. Thank you for being here through the long nights and stuff, supporting these kiddos. Thank our judge, Mr. Todd Williams, for coming out and judging our master showman tonight. He's an extension agent out over in Rockwall County. Is that Dr. Gilbert I see over there? How are you, sir? Good to see you. Glad you come out and see us. Didn't recognize you, that big old hat on.
All right, it's interview time, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to have our contestants come out. I've asked them to join me out here in the arena. And it's a privilege and a pleasure to be here with you tonight. I know there's lots of work that's been going on all through the week with exhibiting and preparation of getting animals ready and those types of things. And at this point, really what this is an exercise in stress management, an exercise in coping, and an exercise in critical thinking. Come out here, guys, okay? And so I don't know what species they won, all right? And so I'm gonna just ask them a question because I think as exhibitors, again, anytime we get out and we're doing showmanship, it really is kind of stress management. Hey guys, y'all come out here and stand this way, okay? That way all the people over here, guys, can see y'all, okay? The people at the podium, it's okay, you can have your back to them. All right, cool. All right. And so I'm just going to ask you some questions, okay? Because as an ag advocate, it's very important that we're able to communicate our thoughts with the people, okay? And so if you've never had a microphone in your hand, I won't let you keep it long because I like microphones, okay? So anyway, all right, so tell me, what was the hardest part about coming out here and showing the animals that you were not familiar with, okay? You don't have to get specifics about this one or that one, okay? Because then it's going to clue me in on what you know. All right, but talk to me about what was difficult about that part, okay?
Probably just the species we don't know, like setting them up is probably the hardest part for me. Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, so teaching moment. Okay, so look, I've got it touching my chin. See that? It's not comfortable for me, but they can't tell, okay? So it's just gonna sit on my chin, that way I know that I'm speaking through it, okay? All right, cool. All right, so tell me, what was the hardest part for you as you were showing these other animals that you may not have been familiar with, okay?
Keeping them under control, mostly.
So how did it feel when you were getting beat up by the goat?
Not good. I think it almost ripped my jeans, and these are 7s, and I would have cried. And yeah, it wasn't my friend. It really did not like me.
So if you could have had your way with that goat, what would you have made it do?
I'm not really sure, but I wish I could control it more better, like setting it up, and that's about it.
Okay. So what would you like, or what would you tell people is the most important thing about showing an animal? This is your chance to convince everybody that they need to be in this program.
I would say just learning not only just the animal that you have, but also other animals, because you have so many people around you, and there's so many people that you can learn from.
So what would you say, if you could go back and show that heifer again, how would you change that experience?
Being able to control it whenever I'm walking through the ring, I think it was like trying to run me over, so putting more pressure on its head, and then making sure I'm staying off the fences and using my entire ring.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, can we give these young people a round of applause? And so what I was doing with each species, I know some of it was a little bit different, and you may not have seen some of the things that we've done before, is that we were bringing them in, we were kind of putting them in a situation that they would be in if they were going to show that animal, but then I also tried to put them in a kind of an uncomfortable situation, because I wanted to see how they were going to respond. Because it's very important that not only did they have possibly an animal that they were unfamiliar with, but then they were having to cope with what this dude wants over here. Why does he want that? But they were able to do that. And I do think that with our animal projects and with FFA, one of the great things that we do is that we teach to be able to think on our feet so that we can make those changes necessary to try to get the information across or try to get the presentation across. And sometimes it doesn't look like we want it to, does it? But we have to learn to give up the idea of perfection and understand the importance and the beauty in working with what we have to showcase what we have to the best of our ability. I think you guys did that. You made it very hard on me, okay, guys? I'm just going to tell them what the questions were, okay? So the first question on the cattle was, where does the highest price cut of meat come from on the cow? That's a good question. I never really thought about that. Ooh, okay. Well, I know they're all high price right now too, right? Okay. That was a basic question on that one, right? Okay. Very important thing with our dairy cattle. You know, it's an obvious thing. Come on, help me out here. Where does the milk come from? All right? The what? On the back end, that's right. How many parts of the udder are there? How many quarters are there? Okay, just general things, okay? Anytime you grab an animal, you should always look at it first when you grab it to see, what am I doing? Because any great showman, I think, can grab an animal and through whatever crazy supernatural power that you have, you can communicate with that animal, and if your body is at ease, then that animal will start to be at ease, even if they don't know you. It's kind of exuding that alpha type experience, so that calms them down, okay? And so you guys are trying that. Now, our goats were not participating though, at all. They were like 5-year-old kids. Was that a stress management opportunity? Okay. Some of you really wanted to give up at that point, guys, okay? I appreciate you bearing through that one because I could just see defeat on some of your faces, all right? Never show that, okay? Never do that. With the lambs, again, we ask where the high price cut was. Why do we set them up the way that we do? What are we trying to look for? Okay, on the pigs, what did we ask? What? Where does the bacon come from? We had some different answers. I cannot share those. Just going to say. Okay, so there was a little bit of concern there, okay, on that. So, and I mean, so we just have to think about those things. And so again, I asked about structure. One of the easy things that I asked about on our pigs was, I asked, without looking at their pig, they had to look at me and say, are you showing a gilt or a barrel? Thank you, Jesus. They all got it right. Without looking. And so that meant that they were paying attention. So I appreciated that. And so you could see ebbs and flows through it. And you could see energy kind of ebb and flow in that too, and excitement about this one or that one. And so I'm telling you, this was very hard. I already made my mind up. I'm just talking. And so, see, I'm seeing how you guys act towards these things. All right, so am I supposed to do my reserve first or my grand first? Okay. Well, guys, I'm going to tell you, it was very tough. You made it tough on me, okay? Thank you again for allowing me to come do this. I enjoy working with young people. I always like to get in their head and see what's rattling around in there. because it helps me as an instructor say, okay, ooh, this is where I've missed it. Thank you for doing that because I've never thought about things that way. And it's just a really fun thing. All right. So you have to come over here with me since I can't hold all of it at once, okay? Cool. All right. So our champion master showman today is going to be the young lady to my right. Our reserve master showman today, and these are some cool banners, aren't they? This is going to be the young man here to my right.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them another big round of applause. All three of them, they really worked their butts off. Our grand champion master showman goes to Cassie McEntee, and our reserve goes to Miguel Velasquez. And let's give Todd another round of applause. Todd Williams for doing this for us tonight. We appreciate him coming out. Kiddos, Mr. Sesko said we need to set the auction ring up. We got to tear it down and set up the auction ring, so don't run off. Don't run off. We need to get this done. We all jump in here together. We'll get it done quickly. All students come to the east side of the arena. East side of the arena, please, where Mr. Sesko is.